Okay, we're at the Paddle the Dawn parking lot. It's a little bit of a different setup this year because of construction. So we're actually at the Ontario Science Centre, and there's a shuttle that are taking people to the put-in point, but we hear it's only a 2-minute walk, so we think we can manage that portage. Paddle the Dawn is obviously a really urban paddling event, and really it's what inspired the whole urban paddler idea, that you can be in the middle of a huge city, but still enjoying nature, still on the water in your canoe or kayak.
Oh, I forgot to put the portage lock on the seat. Alright, so we just got to the Paddle the Dawn launch site. We registered, we got our fancy new hats, and made a quick porta potty stop. And one of my favorite things about going to paddling events is definitely the porta potties. If you have to share a washroom in public with anyone, the best people to do it with is paddlers, because they take really good care of everything. So they're always super clean, super fresh, almost brand new.
Good. Hi. Coffee, can we get two? Yeah, how much? Complimentary? Yeah.
Oh, free coffee?
Free coffee. Free hats, free coffee. You gotta get all the free things. Alright, thanks to the brewing bean, we got 2 free coffees right here. And it's perfect because it looks like we'll have to stand in line for a little while to wait to access the river. So now we can sip on this delicious coffee while we're doing that.
On the river right now. I didn't get a chance to shoot that much video when we were getting into the water because it was moving pretty fast, and I needed to focus and paddle, and I didn't want to drop the camera in the water. We always see people dump in the very first section because there's some quick turns and some fast rapids. So once you get through there, it's pretty smooth sailing. Now Brian is just paddling by himself, and it's a beautiful, warm, sunny day here in Toronto as we paddle the Dawn again. So I'll film a bit more down the river as we go down and show you what the city looks like from the perspective of the Dawn River. We just did the first portage on Paddle the Dawn. There are a bunch because there are weirs throughout the river that you kind of have to go around. So luckily there are scouts at every portage helping you get in and out of the water, both children and adults who are a little bit stronger. The banks are pretty muddy and slippery, and unfortunately last year I actually sort of fell in and pushed a poor scout into the water by accident. Luckily that hasn't happened so far this year, knock on wood, but it's really great to see them helping everyone in and out of the water. And there are also people at every sort of hazard directing you around, so even the most inexperienced paddlers will hopefully know what to look for and where to go as they paddle down the river. So you can see up here there are volunteers on the riverbanks helping people figure out which side to go on, where to go. Clearly they're directing people around to the left rather than the right, so you don't get stuck on the shoals there. I think it's like a retaining wall. So just up above is a place that we've covered on our blog before, which is called Crothers Woods. It's nice to be able to see it from this vantage point where people are sort of hiking along and checking out the paddlers as we go by. You might be wondering what the most dangerous part of doing Paddle the Dawn is every year, and there's fast-moving water, lots of rocks, lots of twists and turns in the river, but it's actually just the sheer number of inexperienced paddlers in the water. Normally when we're paddling, we're kind of alone wherever we are. Maybe we see one other boat or two other boats.
So obstacles now, are you keeping track?
No.
Out of 12?
No.
No, me either.
So as I was saying, the biggest hazard is just other paddlers, in particular the inexperienced ones. It's not uncommon to see people going down the river backwards or coming out of a turn and getting completely spun around, sometimes even falling in the water as a result of losing control of their boat. So you just have to really be careful of how close you are to other boaters, and be aware that some people don't have the same canoe skills that you may have. So just give them lots of space and help them out if they need it. We already retrieved one paddle from the river for another boat already as we were paddling down. So we'll see what else happens as we're heading down. Just went under the Bloor Viaduct, which you can sort of see behind me there. It's starting to come into view. There were tons of sirens, airplanes, helicopters, cars on the DVP, sort of nothing more urban than paddling through all that noise. And this bridge is also where the subway runs through, although we didn't see a train going through when we went through. Oh, more sirens. They're coming to get you, Brian.
What?
They're coming to get you.
I didn't do it. So I don't try and paddle through the huge dead wood. Alright, so right now we're paddling alongside the Don Valley Parkway, which you can see behind me. It's one of the busiest highways in the city, and
Right now we're about halfway between Dundas Street East and Queen Street East on the Don River, and it's getting a bit quieter, not so many boats bunched up together because the water is slower moving, so we're just sort of paddling along here through the city, and we passed an accident on the DVP. Hopefully everyone was okay. Just a typical day driving in the city, I guess. It's quite loud, as you can hear, but we're really enjoying the urban views from our boat. Takeout point near Corktown Commons. It's basically right where right where the DVP ends, and you have to merge onto the Gardiner or get onto Lakeshore Boulevard. So we'll be pulling off here as well and going to join the landing party where they'll have live music, beer, food, and I think we're ready for lunch after this paddle through the city. How is it? Should we get on that shuttle?
looks like the volunteers paddling down to finish off the day.
Hi. Yeah. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Hearing the sound of dead collectors? Get dead off your back and hear the sound.
All right, so we're all done, Paddle the Dawn. Our experience is over. Canoe's back on the car. We've latched it down. So we're just going to drive home now, but another year, another great Paddle the Dawn. And really, it's thanks to all the volunteers, like the scouts that put their time in, all the rescue groups that are here for the safety purposes. You know, people literally haul your boat out of the water for you at the portages, and that just makes it so much easier, especially for people that might not be as comfortable with this sort of river paddling experience. I read on Instagram that there were 800 paddlers at the event today, which is really sounds like a lot to me, but it's great. I think that everyone should try this event if you haven't already. You know, they make it easy. You can rent a canoe, you just show up, paddle it down the river, and then the rental companies retrieve it at the bottom. So it's really simple to enter and take part. And we'll be coming back next year for sure.